here we are. It's that time. It's that place in the universe. People, anyone paying attention, humans, aliens, otherwise. Another episode of Iris of RI. Sitting down with Samuel Aaron McGrath. I
That's
met
my full
this.
name.
Yeah, dude. It was on your Instagram, and I'm like a big like name nerd. So like, if I'm gonna get the whole thing, I'm gonna get the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Met this beautiful soul on Threads. I literally was like the first person who ever because I've tried this a couple times where I like just create a thread and like if anybody wants to be on the podcast, like hey, and he was like, hey, dude, I'll actually do it. I'm like, oh shit, it actually worked. Wow. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
And right now I am currently at my job, job. At least the cool cushy part of the job. I was telling Sam about it, but no need to go in the nitty gritty details. Right, meow. So Sam, to my knowledge, if you couldn't tell, or if you're just only listening, he's sitting next to a piano. He's a musician, and when he responded to the thread, I think I was just asking if there's like anything anybody wants to like espouse or like talk about like passionately, because I think being able to do that is like super important as an artist, is like having the passion for it or like being able to find it when you feel like you've lost it.
Mhm.
So I can't remember, and if there's any other like forms of art that you do, you can totally throw that in there, and any other way you want to introduce yourself, because well, you did your research and like checked out the show. I didn't do any of the research. I should have at least like listened to your music or anything, man. My bad.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other hobbies or anything. I think it's just kind of been music and depression for like the past 5 years. So
Damn. That's valid. COVID was pretty fucking terrible.
yeah, I mean, I'm only 19, so like, um, I was kind of, I didn't really mind it as much because I stayed home anyways. I wasn't like, you know, wasn't happening. Didn't have a lot of friends.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I played video games, and then when those got boring, made music, and here I am.
Amazing. Did you start during COVID, or were you like when did you begin the musical saga journey?
I think it technically like the first thing ever. There was a few times it started, but the first time was when I saw Back to the Future. I think I was like 9, and then yeah, there's the Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good. He plays Johnny Be Good, and
Sure.
that like blew my mind. So like from then on, it was kind of you know, I got a guitar and I tried to learn that song, and then I think I like put it down for like a while, and then I got into like Don McLean, American Pie, that song, and then I got into a bunch of other stuff, and I think after a while I got like when I got bored of video games, I got like just really sucked into it. I'm not
Sure.
sure why. I don't know.
I like to keep the mystery alive. So like when you figure it out, you let me know. Because I can't tell you. If you don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember at one point. I don't know if you're familiar with the Electric Light Orchestra.
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head, at
Probably,
least.
yeah, not by name. They had like songs like "Evil Woman" and "Don't Bring Me Down." "Mr. Blue Sky" is pretty big. Um,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, I think they're like pretty like they're not usually well known by name, but like by the song. But
Sure.
I heard like Mr. Blue Sky when I was like 13, and that like blew my mind. There's this album called Out of the Blue by the Electric Light Orchestra, and
Uh-huh.
it's crazy, man. This guy Jeff Lynne, he like wrote and produced everything, and
Yeah.
he's the singer, and it's just like it's a double album. It's from 1977, and like it's like rock and roll and like pop, but with like heavy orchestral. Uh, it blows my mind. It's
Yeah.
like I can't express it. It's just a monument of production and
Uh-huh.
just beautiful. I can't.
I mean, I just fuck it. After that, like not standing ovation, but like rousing fucking oh, what would it be? It's not a, I want to say renovation, but that is not the right word. Endorsement, ringing
Yeah,
endorsement. I'm just like, I should
review.
listen to that shit.
It's crazy. I think um I'm really into a lot of like stuff that is orchestrated. I'm not sure. I don't know that just because of that album, like I got really into ELO, and that's one of the bands for me that like they don't have any bad songs. They went from like 1972 to 1986, and then Jeff Lynne kind of started releasing stuff under ELO in like 2001, but it was just him.
Mhm.
So it's just crazy. Like in their first few years, they were kind of like a progressive rock band, sort of similar to like Pink Floyd, but with a really different sound.
Yeah.
And then they went into like just like there was an album that was really heavily influenced by Tchaikovsky, but it's like all pop music. It's really just they go through so many phases. There was like an electronic phase. They had a disco album. It's just weird. And
Fuck yeah, dude.
hell yeah. It's just something, man. It blows my mind. I can't. It's just something I'm really passionate about. So
I know. I can feel it. I can definitely feel it. It kind of, at least for me as an artist, I would definitely resonates very deeply to have like different. I mean, phases are just different because I've only done 2 albums, but the first one was like total, like my first ever like we're recording this guitar, singer, sad boy, singer songwriter sad boy energy of just like fuck, but I'm doing it. It's not gonna be very great, but here we are, just me and a harmonica and a guitar. And then the next one, it's like a two-parter, has been like all hip hop, and then I'm hoping like the third one is gonna be like comedy songs and also stand-up comedy. And after that, it's kind of like I don't think I can really plan that far in advance. I have the name for it maybe, or maybe something else will come up, but I just want it to be like almost different genres every time, but I'm assuming because it's like all coming from me, people will be like, oh yeah, like this is
yeah,
still him, but a different sound.
yeah. I mean, I'm actually talking about ambient noises. I love recording in like untreated spaces. So
Hmm.
like the idea of you recording an album with just like a harmonica, a guitar, and vocals, huge. Like that sounds great. And then another album with like stand-up comedy, like all over it. It's just I don't know. I just love wacky stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just very into like I think albums that are like they have some sort of theme to it. It's like a concept album, but like not like fully.
Sure.
Because like I don't know, like whenever I'm really an album guy.
Hmm.
So when I make an album, I don't really go for like a theme or a concept. I don't think I'm like smart enough to do that. Or
Yeah,
like
don't talk down on yourself. You get it.
well, like I don't think I have that part in me. Like that forethought, I guess, Um
I mean, if you say so, it's like for me, it's like if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
just a
So
mindset, right?
yeah, it's just limiting belief. You can do
Um
it.
yeah, I mean I am pretty much capable of anything as far as I can tell, but
Exactly.
definitely have some mindset blocks. Um but yeah, I don't know. Like I've also been learning as I, make albums. Like my first album is terrible. I recorded it on like a demo recorder 4-track.
Hmm.
Um and it's just bad. It's not very good. Um
Yeah,
eh,
my first one wasn't very good either, dude. Like it is what it is.
yeah,
Like
but yeah, I that makes sense. I mean, I like albums with themes. I think that's what I was going for.
sure. No, I get that, dude. I'm not an album guy, to be honest. I'm like a song guy, or like I'm kind of I'm it feels weird to say this, but for me it's like I'll get into like I get very into these like habit loops, and like in I feel like chunks of time of my life, it's like they're painted with like a playlist or like a couple of playlists or like songs that like when I listen to them in the future after I've gotten out of those habit loops, it brings me back to that like time period of my life, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I remember when I was like doing that shit and listening to that music? That was crazy. Because for me,
Yeah,
like the nostalgia is just so strong. But it's not. I won't listen to a whole album, or if I do, I'll find like the one song on it to like put it in in the playlist so I can listen to it on repeat.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely times where I'm obsessed with like certain songs. I'm really into The Temptations. That's another like I'm really into older music. You know, I don't really listen to a lot of like stuff from the past like 30 years.
Sure.
But The Temptations, they had like My Girl. Um,
Yeah. Yep. That's on
you
my
know,
girl.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so people a lot of the time think about them for that period,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been getting into like their like middle stuff from the late 60s, early 70s, and like their producer had like this vision for them to be like psychedelic soul. So he'd heavily like the arrangements are crazy. You're talking like two drum sets for the time, just like weird using like there's one song Cloud 9. I swear to God, he's like using the guitar as percussion. Like when you like,
Nice.
you know, instead of placing your finger on a fret, you place it like closer to the bridge, and then he's just hitting it with a pick, and
Mm-hmm.
like just weird stuff like that, and weird effects, and so there are like 12-minute songs, like
Oh,
and they're one chord, 12-minute one chord songs, but the
what, dude?
arrangements are crazy, and they have like heavy orchestra influence. Like they have a version of Smiling Faces sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy, man. They're like, and the producer was writing all of these with Barrett Strong, who wrote a lot of other songs from Motown. But it's just wild. It really like. There's another song too called "Stop the War." So it's like, you know, obviously you got like the lyrics in these songs aren't usually amazing,
Uh-huh.
but like so it's obviously like a, you know, kind of political song, but it opens with a 4-minute like ambient intro, and there's like it's just weird, man. It really gets me. Like I can't really describe it very well. I'm not great with articulating my words,
So,
but it's an experience, you know?
yeah, it sounds like it, dude. So is it it sounds like something you need to either be like super like passionate the way that you are, or like you just got to be like on like
Something.
tripping on acid or something, yeah, or just some smoking weed or tripping on acid just because you need something that's like makes you feel it more than like thinking about it, or like because as like a musician, if you train your ear, you can like actively listen and like separate everything out, and like that's like the scientific science. If I was a scientist part of my brain that just like chops it up and dissects it and like separates everything, because for most people, I'm imagining, especially like when I was a little kid, like you just like take it all in on face value and don't try to do any of that shit. But I like through my training of like don't start like I always like do that now, and I can't like undo it unless you are able to take something that like calms your mind down, or just like, all right, I can just experience this without needing to
Yeah.
analyze it.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously like being into music and musicians, and especially like the 60s and 70s. I tried like pot, and I tried shrooms once. I took 3 grams shrooms. Never
Mm-hmm.
took
Sure.
shrooms before. I didn't do any research. Is this kid I barely knew, and I have like I was diagnosed with like some sort of anxiety when I was like 5. So
Uh-huh.
I'm like really an anxious guy,
Sure.
and every time I just take something or smoke something, just makes me feel like terrible. It makes
Sure.
me like very paranoid and very anxious.
Sure.
So that like I always felt like I needed to take, you know, something because all these guys I look up to, like Revolver by the Beatles,
Uh-huh.
huge album of mine. That's like an acid album, and you know, I always thought like I should take drugs to like enjoy this, but I enjoy it anyways. And yeah, it's not a great experience for me when I do drugs, but I mean, it's an experience like taking shrooms. I would, I'm glad I took them because like I know what that's like now.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing like that, you know, for me. But won't do it again and wouldn't
No,
recommend
sure.
it.
I mean, yeah, it's like they're all different, and
I know
yeah,
you like them, right? Or
yeah,
not?
I'm a psychonaut. It is part of me. It was weird because when I was growing up, it was very much like straight edge up until like the middle of high school, and like that was when I got started smoking weed and everything with the fucking parents separating and divorce that really fucking tried to use that for a band-aid for wait for the right amount of time. Feels like forever, but it's only like 10 years. But I don't know, man. It's different strokes for different folks.
Of course.
There's each different substance has its own like use and
Intricacies.
yeah, exactly. Like it's something, especially things that like bring you up based on the fact that like you're generally already up from being an anxious human being. You don't want stuff that's gonna like calm you down and slow you down. Like I've only done ketamine twice in my life, and like both times it was like profoundly life changing. It's one of the ones where it's just like it slows you down. But for me, it's like slowed me down, but I feel like it allowed me to like just calm that anxiety and like be open. And I feel like I just was talking a shit ton, but like the people who were around me were like, "No, you're good, dude. Just keep going. Like we're listening. Like it's whatever." So I mean, you also the set and setting. If you're like you're with people that aren't like don't make you
Yeah.
feel safe, that's like a whole thing. Or you're just gonna be anxious because you're like, "Oh yeah, I can't be safe right now. I'm like with this person I don't really know." Like, but if that's what you feel is right for you, then do that. I
Yeah.
don't think peer pressure is really like the
Great.
way to go about having people like
Try new drugs. Yeah. Mind
yeah
altering.
yeah, it's like they're catalyst. They can be catalysts for profound change if that's how you're coming to it. Like I do psychedelics ceremonially now. Like no, there was the phase of like smoking weed and doing mushrooms and acid and drinking like recreationally, but it's like I don't really. It's not really my swing my shtick anymore. Like I'm gonna in theory meet a chick tomorrow and like go get a drink with her, but like I wouldn't normally ever do that. Like so it's just fucking set and setting, and when you're ready to try again, if you ever do, like do it. But if you feel like you're at this point like don't need it, then don't fucking do it. Like it's just simple as that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think I took them out of like, um, I don't know, desperation to like feel something else.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've been depressed, like really crazy depressed for like 5 years.
Right.
And I think like a lot of the time I look to like something like that to help me, but it doesn't really. Kind of just makes me feel not as much depressed, but just very anxious.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess just something I did to try and make me feel better. I don't know.
No, no, it makes sense when you're especially if you're not getting the healing from the people or like institutions that are supposed to be trying to help you heal.
Yeah.
You look for other alternatives, and like doing that is the alternative. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I like to pretend or like that, not pretend, but I want to become a shaman. And shamans do things that aren't like they don't go to a medical school to become a shaman. You go to the jungle, and it's weird because if you learn more about where pharmaceutical companies are getting some of their recipes, or like the recipes, like not penicillin, because penicillin was like they discovered it with moldy bread or whatever, but other pharmaceuticals is like they literally go to the fucking shamans and like ask them like they break down the recipes and then like go to the lab and like distill what the actual active chemicals are and then just like make them stronger. And it's
Yeah.
like they're just literally just fucking ripping off the dudes who are they're not doing it for money, but the people who are doing it for money are fucking taking it from the people that like spent the thousands of years and like built the relationship with the plants. It's just fucking blows my mind that it's like
Yeah. God bless America, man.
yeah, God bless the fucking United States corporation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of greedy people out there. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
remember, like, I don't know. I grew up in like a very like, um, just weird family. Um, I
Preach.
don't know. My like, further out relatives are always like, you should try and do this for money. You know, you seem like you're good at this. Maybe you could make some money doing that. Like, okay, like, what? That's I don't
Uh,
know. It's just get that a lot from them, and like, it's like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
do they have a
Family.
lot or do they have not enough?
About as much as like, they like they're just like lower middle class people. They're very
Mhm.
like home and just I don't know. They're just kind of behind the times in a lot of ways.
Sure. Some people live under rocks. My rock just happens to roll around. That's what I've fucking been saying now recently. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I kind of go with the philosophy like do it and the money will come. Like if you're passionate about it in
Yeah,
some way, shape, or form, the thing you're like you want to be doing will just kind of like start to support you as long as you continue to be all in and continue to just walk that path. It'll just kind of like
yeah,
manifest. And I don't know, like
rock and
the
roll.
dude, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? The fucking it's like I think the number is somewhere between like 70 and like $90,000. Like once you achieve that level of like financial stability, maybe it's a little bit more now with inflation being ridiculous, but that you get to that level and you're not stressing about money anymore. No more money than that actually like will make you
Is
any happier.
necessary. Yeah,
Yeah, it just doesn't make you happy. But like for me, I want to like have more than that so I could like travel and build things and build communities and invest in things that like most people aren't willing to work that hard to make that stuff happen. So it's like I'm just gonna do it so that I can live a life that other people don't really normally like. It's just I've accepted that I'm weird and want to like be in control of my destiny, my fate. So
hmm
that's what I'm doing.
oh yeah. I mean, I definitely worry a lot about like financial security and like
Mm-hmm.
my future financially. Um, and I mean, it's tough because musician. I don't know. I'm obviously on Threads a lot, and there are a lot of people like complaining about how much money musicians make off of like streaming and just in general off
Mm-hmm.
of the craft. And so I just like I think a lot of that gets in my head. I don't know if it's necessarily true or not. I think it seems to be to some degree.
Making money off of music, yeah. There's it's one of the things where it's like if you're willing to like sell your soul or put the golden handcuffs on, then like in theory, I guess if you become the industry plant or industry stooge, then like yeah, they'll steal fucking 90% of the fucking money that you make from being like their like puppet. But like I'd rather remain independent and make less money and just make cool
Yeah.
shit with cool people versus like selling out in that way.
Yeah. I think I just want to be able to like buy a small house, raise a small family, and make music. That's like just comfortably live off of making music.
Sure.
That's pretty much it. Like it's just I don't know. I worry about it a lot. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the future is now and I never know like the only thing that you can do with the freedom you gotta as an artist make friends with freedom and uncertainty because like you only ever have like the present moment and to be able to like I've learned this especially doing like stand-up comedy is like the thing you're worried about in the future is like doesn't actually exist. Like there's been so many times where like before going up on stage, I get like this whole thing of like what ifs of like this, that, or the third could happen to me, or no one's gonna laugh, or even if they don't, like fuck it. But you get up there, and as soon as you start, you're like, oh, this isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And for trying to see that thing on the horizon of like what I want for myself is like a similar thing. I think you just gotta come at it from like a positive perspective and try to just enjoy the process and not worry so much about the destination because it's always the journey, not really the destination.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is about the journey. Um, I mean, obviously, like a lot of people, once they get to where they want it to be, it seems like they kind of get bored. So I don't know. So when I worry about like if I'll make it, then I start to worry about if I make it, then will I be able to continue? It just is like a ladder of worries.
Right, right,
Like,
right. No, I get it. It's the fear of like success in a way, and I have a similar energy, especially it's like after you accomplish the thing because you did all this like grinding and like took all these risks to like make it happen, and then you like you did it, you achieved the thing, you became an ayahuasca for me, the one I'm thinking of right recently, became the ayahuasca facilitator, and now I'm like, shit, I did it. What the fuck? What do I do now? It's like
yeah,
especially early on in my life, there's just this like motif in me or like archetype of like addict energy kind of where like I get all in all the way doing it. Like I want to, become it, do the thing all the way. And then I do it and I'm like, all right, well, there's no more novelty. My brain isn't giving me like the feel good drugs anymore. So like I got to find something else. And I think that's just kind of like, in a way, like natural evolution, or like you found the way to get food, and then you get the food and you get comfortable, and then like it's this weird balance between being like, oh, I'm grateful for the fact that like I did the thing, but now I need to be, your gratefulness is like tempered with like this like weird amount of like dissatisfaction of like, all right, so like what can I do now, or what's the next thing that's gonna like make me feel that way, and then you just start walking in the next direction once you've arrived at the destination. It's, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
not like, it's not fucking rocket science, but it's also like you just gotta try to return back to the present moment because it's like all you got. Do you meditate at all? I'm just curious.
No. My mom is sort of spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So she's tried to get me into that stuff like over the years.
Sure.
I tried when I was having a panic attack
Yeah.
a few weeks
That'd be
ago.
a tough time to start meditating, but at
Yeah,
least
I
you're just
mean,
trying to calm yourself down.
I try like, just kind of focus on nothing and close your eyes and breathe.
Right. Yep.
Um, so, I mean, sometimes I think about getting into it, but like, I don't know if I can commit or like when I should. I mean, I always, another thing I feel I have a lot of trouble with is like the feeling that I'm always losing time. Like when I'm not at work, like I have to be spending my time wisely. Otherwise, I feel like, like work's just around the corner. Like, you know, I gotta get something done, something like worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Like,
have so much, there's nowhere, I'm really going right now. So I don't really have a shortage of time.
right,
I don't
dude.
know.
You're 19, dude. You got like, in theory, as long as the fucking world doesn't blow up or we blow ourselves up, that like you got the whole fucking next at least 1 plus 61 or 62 years, so like 63 years of time. If the average lifespan in America is 73, like you got it till 73 on average, and then maybe you'll even get more than that. Like, and especially when we're that young, dude. Like, you have no fucking concept, dude. I remember like getting to fucking like half of what I would be now, and being like, all those times where you get as a teenager, you're like, oh fuck, bro, like there's gonna really be a time when I'm twice as old as I am right now, and then even you can say that right the fuck right now, we're like, I'm gonna be 54 at some point in the future, and like that's a fucking, like I doubled my lifespan. That's crazy that I'm gonna have a whole nother chunk of me in the future, and like what the fuck is all that's gonna be filled with, all the craziness and ridiculous ass shit. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe for me, especially if you're like on your phone too much, you're just like socially conditioned to be like anxious about it. But at least you have the notion of like, fuck, like I needed to be doing something that's gonna, in theory, at least for me, like make the future better than where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something I think about a lot. And yeah, I don't know.
That's the fucking dude. I mean, it's just life. It's just life. It's just making a decision and sticking with it until your ego fucking wraps itself around it and you become it, or something like that. I mean, it's just a working theory, how it's worked for me my whole life, I guess.
Hmm.
I guess wherever we are, yeah, like halfway through or whatnot. But I can start asking you the actual questions of like what I'm supposed to be doing in the interview. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. I mean, I don't mean to like ramble.
No, dude, I loved everything we just talked about because for me it's like there's so many different things that I am. So like I just like whatever, I kind of just try to meet people where they're at. Like for me it feels very much that like in a way I'm the fucking like life coach or just mentoring you in a little bit right now, but like that's just because you just seem a little lost, because I mean that's just the modern human condition is like there's no
Yeah.
fucking, can't go to the stars, and we're insulated from war, so like there's nothing like fucking pounding at us to like get your shit together, but so we just feel like lost a little bit, especially as men. But like I guess since we're doing the podcast, it's supposed to be about art. Like, what is art to you?
Um, I honestly don't know. I think I know in the episode with Stephen Roach, you
Mm-hmm.
talked a little bit about the urinal. Uh, it
What the
that
fuck? I can't remember what
I
he called it. Yeah.
believe that concept is called Dadaism. Um, it's like I forget. It's been a while since I've talked about it or thought about it at all, but it's kind of like the art that is what is art, like a urinal. Like you look
Yeah.
at it and you're like, is this art? Um, so I mean, I think art can kind of be anything, like I guess how you look at it. Um, I mean, I make music. Like I'm not really like into visual art that much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't really have much appreciation for like a painting most
Mm-hmm.
of the time. Um, but at the same time, I am very into album covers. So
Sure.
I don't really know. Just really everything, I guess.
Yeah. Is it basically art without? No, I don't even know. I don't need to do that repetition right now. Yeah, it's art is there's just the level of intentionality is like there,
Yeah,
and
I that makes sense.
they
You
like
know,
somebody building a house, like they're not going to describe it as art, but if they put in their heart and soul and are very like intentional slash like being crafty or a craftsman and are an expert of their craft, it's going to come out phenomenally, and people are going to be like, "Yo, that's fucking dope."
yeah,
But somebody to doing the thing of like putting a urinal in a art museum or art gallery and just putting your name on it to like kind of troll people, but also to like try to make them think is all their that is the where the line of like your immediate circle of energy is like you've separated it and you're putting it out to the public for all the other people and their energies and like it's like the thing of like when they circles overlap the Vesica Pisces of like interpreting what the other person is doing that's where art is like an art and beauty is in the eye of the beholder and then like is it art if you don't think that it's art? Nope. But if like everybody agrees that it's art or the artist is like no that's art then like I fuck dude I guess it is and like everything is art if you
yeah,
feel it to be art.
yeah. I mean, I think like I remember talking about Dadaism with my old um, creative writing teacher, and I believe he thought or said it was like it kind of came out of like World War II. Obviously huge loss, huge L in history, and I guess people kind of came out of that like, what's art when this is going on,
Right. Yeah.
or maybe it was World War One. I don't remember, but so yeah, I mean, I don't know what that had to do with anything, but just thought about
Oh,
that.
it's the repetition for me. Destruction breeds creation. The Red Hot Chili Pepper lyric. That's like the thing of like, and I think this was in Stephen Roach conversation too. That like you need like the beauty calms the human soul. Like after, especially after you're dealing with some crazy traumatic shit like war, you're like you need like a regularness to like come back into you and like be holding something that like brings you to tears of like damn that is just so beautiful holy shit like that kind of hopefully will in a way bring you to back to an equilibrium of like oh yeah that shitty thing happened but like there is this other side of life that it's possible to like breathe easy and like chill the fuck out like okay I can
Yeah,
be there.
I think also thinking about like shocking art. I'm a big fan of Harry Nilsson, and he's another like 70s artist,
Mm-hmm.
musician, and he has this one like I think it's like 4 minute song called Jesus Christ You're Tall, and it's crazy, dude. This is another
Oh
trip,
my
man.
god,
So I gotta
Jesus Christ,
explain
it's
this.
all.
So it's like a story. It's a 2 chord song. That's kind of important. But anyways, the story of the song, and it's a pretty good story, is that Jesus is really tall, you know, the guy, Christ, and he meets a girl, the girl next door, as it's referred to in the song. And so they have kids, and then the kid is really tall. He grows to be really tall, or it's really weird. And then he plays basketball, and then I believe he's signed to a team, and then he marries the girl next door, and then they have kids. And as the generations go by, they get taller. And so eventually they're so tall that they're all playing basketball in heaven on clouds. And yeah, that's the song.
What a trip, dude.
It's a beautiful song. It's a little underground, not crazy, but it's a great song that kind of was forgotten a little bit.
Sure, definitely. I don't think I've ever heard it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I got eclectic taste, but other times I feel like I'm just like a fucking mainstream fucking surface dweller. But like, it's just you can't be a hipster about everything all the time. I think. And
Yeah.
Dude, pop music is just so goddamn catchy. And I fucking, especially because the way that I like to like have my rhymes very structured. I feel like I kind of like take after pop music in that way.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time for me in high school, great time, where I was very like kind of posh, or I thought highly of my music taste. I was like, oh, like this song only has 500 views on YouTube. Like I'm listening to real great music here, because like no one else listens to this. It's like, intellectual. But I mean,
elitism.
Yeah, like I think there's a time and place for everything. Like, I mean, the reason I love ELO so much is because they're like a perfect mix for me of really like heavily arranged, smart music, but also like it's hidden under a lot of catchy pop and rock and roll 70s, and just other stuff. But it's very simple in a basic sense, and it's very catchy. And I mean, my music is kind of just built on that. I don't know. I just think that sometimes pop music can be everything. There's there's no label.
Is there no label? Is there a label? It's just fucking if it's judgment and criticism and how it all hits their apperception, because like the word apperception is like you're like almost like your blinders, but realistically it's like your filter of like it's your entire life up until the point of like when a new idea or idea hits your brain, and it goes through that filter of like who you are up until that point, and it comes back out, and like that's essentially how you like formulate your opinion on whatever thing you're experiencing. Like if you like never even heard like death metal before, and like you only like fucking like choir music, and you hear death metal, you're like, tell me that shit's fucking Satan. Like I don't want any of that. Like what the fuck? This is terrible. But that's like all you grew up on is death metal, and you hear more great death metal, you're like, yo, this is fucking great. I just found more shit I love. Like amazing.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of stuff has to do with what you're exposed to. Just like you said, I mean, I don't know how I got into whatever I listen to. My parents don't really care for it and never really played a lot of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I definitely think some people, I guess, go out of their way to find stuff that tickles their fancy. But yeah, definitely. I mean, choir music is great, by the way. But yeah, death metal is also like, I mean, there's so much, man. I'm so like into production, and like music just drives me crazy.
Like in a good sense, or like
a great sense.
Sure.
Like choir. Okay, man. Back to ELO. ELO uses like choirs in all of their songs. It's just wild, man. So I'm just thinking about that in the back of my head.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm going off like all over the place here.
Don't even sweat it, bro. I just you're teaching me, which is fucking I love that shit. Like I'm gonna really, especially when I like go back and like edit this and however long, I'm gonna like look back and be like, oh yeah, dude, I should fucking listen to all this shit this guy's fucking telling me about.
It's crazy. I'm also like really into the Ink Spots. That's like another like 40s group.
See,
I don't
I
know.
don't know any of these things. So I'm just like, fuck it, bro. Like, all right, just keep telling me fucking new cool shit I should be fucking checking out. And then also now that I like make pop or rap slash pop music or hip hop, that I'm like, and just more shit. That I'm like, oh, maybe I can sample some shit and like maybe make something fucking even cool and new with that. Like, oh, dude, it's such just so
Dude,
wild.
yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of hip hop, but I definitely like. I think it's so interesting to hear. I mean, the older I've gotten, I can kind of hear influences
Mm.
better. So like sometimes I hear like a soul record, and like or just there's this one metal album I like, early metal. It's called "Looking On" by The Move,
Uh-huh.
and like there's the last song on there. It has like such a hip hop beat to it.
Mm. Oh, shut the fuck.
And it just drives me it's just weird, man, because it's like this early metal album, and that's a trip, dude. That's an "Looking On" by The Move.
Yeah.
That was actually ELO before they were ELO. I know I'm like an ELO
Dude,
crazy
you're a
fanatic.
super fan, dude. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah, I gotta stop, but like so what's crazy to me
nah,
because
don't stop, dude. Fuck it. You're teaching all the people who don't even know about this shit, like, why the
yeah,
fuck they should know about it, I think.
I mean, yeah, I this is just they're just a huge influence for me. So I it's weird to me because they went from progressive rock to whatever, and then going back into their old stuff before they were ELO, um, they were like an early metal group. Their last two albums were like huge stoner albums, like just really weird stuff. Like I can't even describe it. There's like, heavy rock songs with like these like 4-minute jazz breaks and just weird stuff. It blows my mind. And yeah, I just love all that stuff. It's weird to me because a lot of the stuff I listen to, I don't think I really like replicate in my music. Not a, I don't know. I don't think I hear a lot of it most of the time. Um,
You're kind of close. You might be too. Fuck, there's a saying that like to describe this situation, but like you're like you're nose blind to what you're cooking, which is a way to say it. That like
that's fair.
you're in it, so you can't really like see it. Like you got to get like a somebody who's like not in it to be like you let me listen to fucking ELO and then your shit, and I can be like well actually. So trying to, I mean, you're probably gonna fucking bring it back to it, but like, do you use AI at all in like any of your production stuff now? And now it's like taking over the way that it is.
So, I actually I'm really interested in this as well. Um, I don't use AI in like I guess a normal way. I'm really into like plugins and effects.
Uh-huh.
So there's this one plugin, I believe it's called like Neotone, um, and it's an AI plugin, and
Mhm.
basically they feed the AI a sound like a saxophone, and from then on, you feed the AI another sound like a vocal, and
Mhm.
it'll try and turn the vocal into like the saxophone or something else. Like
Oh.
there's one preset on there that's it fed like I think like some old like Mexican radio, just like talking, or even NASA recordings.
Uh,
They fed NASA recordings to it, and you can put like vocals through there, and it sounds wild. I can't make any sense of like using it like in a musical sense, but
uh,
for like like turning a vocal into a saxophone, it doesn't sound quite right. I'm really into things that like don't sound normal. I'm really into the Beach Boys, and
Valid.
Pet Sounds, like that album, and Phil Spector. It's a separate thing, sort of, but doubling instruments, like with other instruments. So using AI, like turning a vocal into a saxophone and then putting the vocal on top of that, stuff like that, like drives me wild. Like I just love just things that sound sort of odd. And so that's all I use AI for,
Uh-huh.
pretty much. But I think it seems like using AI for like utility, like EQ and stuff,
Mhm.
mastering a track. I think that seems pretty cool. Efficiency, I guess. All right.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of the point of it, is to like cut down and do things that like used to take teams of people, do it in like fractions of the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really use AI for much of anything that I do. Yeah, I'm using it to do clips, but it's just like
Oh,
I'm not famous, so nobody gives a shit. Like I don't know. It's like I don't know.
no, you're good, dude.
No, it's just there's a cat over there, but it's that was crazy to me and that cat notice each other at the exact same time. But whatever,
It's
dude.
terrifying.
It's just fucking synchronicity of consciousness. Like both conscious beings are like, oh hey, we see each other. We know that you're there. I see you, cat. Fuck you. Get out of here. Fucking staring me down like I'm not fucking. I ain't shit. And I gotta go over there and fight that cat. He's right. I'm not gonna go fight that cat. But the fuck
Not
was I
worth it,
saying?
man.
It's not worth it, dude.
Using AI to cut up uh
Oh yeah, clips.
samples, clips.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Oh,
clips from the
clips
podcast
from
and stuff.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, efficiency. I think like a lot of people are kind of against AI and like trying to copy art, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, because you know it's a robot that's terrifying. And it seems like a lot of the time it kind of takes art from other people and then just turns that into original art. But I
Right.
think using AI and like an efficiency utility and also like machine learning, like what I was talking about, just stuff like that is really helpful and also really cool and
No.
terrifying as well.
Yeah, just a weird balance for sure. Of like, oh, this is amazing, but oh fuck, this is kind of
Yeah,
fucked up.
what?
There's a meme. I hope I can put it up here when I start talking about this. It's like something about basically like AIs, because of how much AI art has been generated through AIs, or now like using the art that they've generated to like make more AI art, and it's just this fucking. It's I think it's a picture of George Bush and the dude like leaning into him when he's in the kindergarten class, like when 9/11 was happening, and the guy the text on the bottom is like, "Sir, the AIs are inbreeding" or some shit like that. And
Jeez.
it was just so funny to me.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'm like I said, man, I love music, I love production, so um I love like putting an effect on something and then like bouncing that track so like the effect is glued to the track and then you put the effect on again and then you glue it again. It just like it reminded me of it because like feeding AI art that I do find interesting, even though it's kind of also still terrible because at some point it's so unrecognizable. It might somewhat in a way be original, you know. I mean, it's still not really, because you're just stealing other art to create something else from the beginning.
right.
But at the same time, I just find that really interesting. Like just meshing things together over and over again until it's something, you know?
Yeah, remixing or rehashing it till it's like unrecognizable. It's like
Yeah.
that's in a way original for sure.
Yeah.
But because especially if you like get it to a point where like I wrote this one song forever ago, and like the lady was like, I can't even tell when I played it for her as I was doing a singing lesson with her. She was like, I literally can't even tell who the fuck like influenced you to like write this, and I'm like, good. That is what I
Yeah.
want. I don't want people to be able to tell who the fuck I listened to growing up. For like if they listen to these podcasts, they're probably gonna hear it at some point. But just fucking, it's just something else, man. Being a person, and also there's everything's a fucking remix at this point. Like even the people, like I'll never forget like hearing this. I don't even. I think it might have been a Joe Rogan clip, but it was like the dude who wrote "Smoke on the Water," or when they, however they like came to like doing it. He's just like, oh yeah, I just like reversed Beethoven's like Fifth or Sixth Symphony, and it's like one's like bum 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 bum, and like smoking on, or like the opposite of that is just backwards, and like all right, fuck, dude, like, yeah, like you never really, unless you have the ear for it and are able to like think of shit like that, like you never even like realize where people are getting their ideas and shit from. All right, dude, we're gonna fucking.
Lock in.
This is like one last question that I like to end on is like, if you were gonna die when I hit like the stop recording button, like what like thing, like leaving a legacy of like wisdom or knowledge would you want to like give to the rest of the 8 billion or 9 billion people that are on planet Earth. But like you're so young, I feel like you're gonna be like, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't got anything, which is like, hopefully that's not too mean of me to say.
No, no, I get that. I'm a pretty like lost individual, mentally.
You're just young, man. Like don't even sweat it, bro. Like when I was 19, I was like just getting into all this shit and trying to figure it out for myself. So like I get it, dude. It's like you have time to spare, and like you're just gonna like have experiences that are gonna help you figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I was gonna die, listen to my album. That's about all I can say right now.
That's the fucking next question. But yes, listen to
Oh
this
God.
man's album. Fucking that's that's some wisdom right there. Maybe I don't know. Just
Well,
I'll just say that like be present, be in the moment, live your life in the moment, have a notion of what the fuck you want in the future because that allows you to fucking find it as long as you're looking for it. But like you got to live your life right here, right now. That's all that ever is. Is all that ever will be. But Sam, where can the people find your album? Where can they find
um,
it?
okay. Big question. I make music under Wispy Cauliflower. That is all my music is under there,
Sure, it's
as
on
well
screen
as
right now as he's describing it.
it is on screen right now as I'm describing it.
It will be in post. Don't worry.
Okay. I was gonna say I have Spotify open. This is terrifying. Anyways, yeah, Wispy Cauliflower. Um, and yeah, that's just everything. I write and produce and record, and I don't, and no one else touches anything except for the collaboration stuff I've done. So hopefully, my last album, DIY Orphans, that's a pretty cool album. Title means nothing. But
That
yeah,
means
I mean,
something, but
um, yeah, I mean, hopefully, it's enjoyable.
for sure. Thank you for your time and energy, Sam.
Thank
Really
you for your time and
appreciate it.
energy.
Got it, dude. So I'll just do my ending and then we're done. Smile more, complain less. Never, ever, ever give up till you discern just for your darndest best. Namaste. Have a great day. Great day. Slash soon if it's nighttime soon. Subscribe, like and subscribe and comment and share. But mostly subscribe to keep the algorithm satisfied. Because I need 1,000 subscribers so I can start making advertising dollars and all that good junk. But thank you for the listeners' time and attention. I really appreciate everybody giving it to me and sharing and all the wonderful things that people do. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.